Hey, YouTubers, Tazman here, bringing you another episode of Taz Teaches Java. In our last episode, we were working on our deck class. In this episode, we're going to continue working on the deck class because there's some things we need. However, I think we might also want to do a little bit of work, at least a little bit, to get our player class kind of started. So what we're going to do first is think about a player. So maybe for a player, we would need things such as a first name. I don't think we care about last name, but we'll just do first name. Oops, and I need to call that a string. So we'll have like a first name. We're going to want to keep track of the maximum amount of cards the player can have. So like if we're playing, you know, poker or something, we can have 5 cards or 7 card draw or whatever the game is. You might have a specific amount of cards that the player is allowed to have in their hand at once. So I'm going to say private int maybe max cards. Let's see, and then we probably want to keep track of how many cards are existing in their hands. So if they go under the max, like if we're playing Uno or something, you start with, 5 or 7 cards, and you try and get down to 0. So we will probably want to also have something like private int cards left or cards in hand. Let's just do left. A little bit shorter, and I'm lazy to type. And then the final thing we will want to have is the actual cards that are in their hand. So let's just do that as an array list. And wait, and wait, and wait. There we go, an array list. And it will be of type card, because it's going to be a whole bunch of cards. We'll just call it hand. And equals, oops, that's minus, equals new array list. So without getting into too much, that kind of gets our just so we can decide how our player is going to work. So let's go ahead and say that. Let's go back to the deck. So now if we think about the deck, there's a couple things we do with the deck. So right now we generate a new deck, right? And we can shuffle that deck. So we have our full shuffle on our deck. We might, let's just think for a second. We also are displaying our deck. And this is more for debugging or something. We already have our display card, which we can do our card to string, so we do that directly. So I think what we want to do is kind of focus on dealing the cards. So there's various ways we deal cards. How we not deal cards, but manage cards, how we use the cards. So we deal cards, we discard cards. We might have, our player might want to discard their whole hand. At the end of a round, they lose, they have cards left, they discard the cards. So what we're going to want to do is probably, I think, did we already, yeah, we have our cards are in play and are discarded. So the in play is basically going to be a copy of everything in all players' hands, not just a single player, just so we know that that card is in play somewhere. Discard will be a list of any cards that are in the discard pile, and then cards will be our deck of cards. So let's go ahead and let's see, what should we do? Let's do our, maybe we should deal a card first. Sounds like a good idea. How we deal our card. And do we want, just thinking for a second, so this is going to return a card. And I suppose when we're dealing a card, we'll just, I guess this would be through a loop, it would be called multiple times to deal X amount of cards, right? Because we're we're going to want to return a single card because it's going to go to the in play and to the player. Yeah, I think so. So let's go ahead. First thing we're going to want here is, let's do public. If you guys have any better ideas on this, let me know. Public card, and we'll call it deal card. So we're going to deal a card. It doesn't need anything passed into it because it can access all the local variables of the instance. And then it's going to want us to return something. Let's go ahead and set up a card that's in here. Whoops, a card called temp card, maybe TMP card. And when we're all done with our function, we will return URN, return that temp card. And we need the semicolons there. Okay, so now let's just think a little bit about how this is going to be. So our temp card is going to need to draw, and I think we talked about last time that we always want to draw from the furthest element so that it doesn't have to reshuffle our deck or move every card down one. If we remove from the end element, then all we have left is what's left in the deck. We don't, card 0 will always be the last card. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So we need to say our temp card, TMP card, and it equals, and now we need to figure out how we get the card from the deck, right? So we need to say it's going to be a new card, right? And it's going to be getting, so if we go look at our card, when we're doing this, remember, we're looking at our card, we need to get, where's our, we're getting the value weight and the suit weight. Those are the two things that we get from it. So we want to say, that's the deck. So we need to say card, and we're going to go cards, because we want to get the last card, and we want to get the index, right? Or the, so this will be, let's see, let me just think for a second. So this will be the entire card size minus 1 because it starts at 0. So this will be cards dot size and then minus 1. So what this is doing is this is saying the new card, the value of the card is going to be basically what we're doing is we're copying the card here into there, but we don't want to copy the reference. We actually want to copy the values of the card. So we're saying that this is going to get from the array, from the last array element. So if we have 52 cards, however that starts at 0, so as far as the values go, we have 0 through 49. So we want to get element number 49 or 51 instead of 52 because 52 doesn't actually exist. So this is going to grab element number 51. So that will be which one we want to get, and then we want to get from that, we need to get, and was it suit weight or suit, I think it was suit, it was the value first, right? Let's just double check. Value weight. So here, oops, go back to deck. So hit control that. So we want to get the value weight for that, for whatever that last card is. And that's going to generate a new card and assign it to temp card. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, let me know in the comments below and we'll try and make it make more sense. And then we want to do the comma because that will get the value weight. Then we basically want to do the exact same thing, but we want to get the suit weight. So I'm going to copy right up to there. And then we're going to do dot suit weight. So this is going to get our constructor, and it's going to get the value of that first one and put the value. So basically it's copying the card in a nutshell. Maybe a really weird way of copying a card, but on camera that's what makes sense to me right now. So now that we've taken a card and we've copied it from cards, and we have assigned it to temp card, what we want to do is remove that card from our cards in play, right? Which is these guys, are our cards, our deck of cards. So now we want to do cards dot, and I believe it is remove. Let's check. Yeah, remove. And the object we want to remove will be the exact same thing as here. We want to remove the last card. I don't think I need, do I need to get? Yeah, I think I do actually. So we actually need this whole thing. So this is going to remove the card at element, in this case, 41, or I mean 51. Ugh, can't talk. So there's that. I think we missed our semicolon on the end of this guy. Go back. Oops. Go back one and semicolon. There we go. So that should fix that. Then, now that we've got our temp card, we need to assign our card that we just created to the in play. And so to do that, we're basically going to kind of do the same thing we did here. We're going to be copying this temp card values into this. So it won't be quite as complex and large, but we need to go in play, which is our in play array, and we're going to add a card. And we want to do, how do I want to do you? Probably just a new card, because we're creating a new one. And the values we're pushing are going to be temp cards. However, we don't have an array of temp cards, so we don't have to do all this card size stuff. All we have to do is say TMP temp card dot, we could do the get value, and then comma, the exact same thing with get weight. Oops, not all the way to there. Let's just do, yeah, to there, Control C, to V, and get suit weight, yes. So this will generate us a new card, right? Evaluate, and then temp card. Get suit weight. Yeah, I think that's all we need. And then of course we do need our semicolon at the end. So what this is going to do is when we say deal a card, it will go ahead and actually, no, we don't need it to pull anything. So the reason we have it returning is because in here we also want it then to give a card to our player. So it's going to take that temp card, and the value of the temp card in player is going to have kind of this exact same thing right here. Sorry, right here in order for it to get the card. So let's see. So that should do dealing a card, I think. Because then what we would do is in here we would say, well, we'd have to create a player. Let's just see if we can get the player to get a card and see if it works right. So we don't care about this. Or we don't care about display deck right now. What we want to do is verify that the player gets a card. So we have a deck here. Let's just do PLAY player. Let's call it P1 equals new player. Okay, and then, so the deck is being created. It's already being shuffled, so we don't need to worry about that. Oops, wrong button. Shift and delete. So let's see. So then what we want to do is deal a card, and it's going to return a card. So what we would want to do in order to get the player a card, we need to have probably a deal card in player, right? Or get card maybe. Or draw card. That might be a best way to say it. So PUBL public card. And let's do called DRAW draw card. And this is going to expect getting a card. Card.card. Right? So what this is going to do is basically this card that's handed in will be an object of card. Oh wait, no, this is void. This is void because we don't need to know that. So we're going to say we're going to get the object of the card, right? And then we will, do I need, well, basically assign. So we could copy this line right here and just modify it a bit, and I think we'll be fine. So we need to change this to hand, and this is no longer going to be temp card, this is just going to be card, and this is going to be card. So if I want then, if we want to display that card, we're going to do an @override, override, and we're going to do a public, do we do a string? I think we do a string, right? Or just, yeah, string, and then to string, not passing it anything, and this is going to be return, and go ahead and put the semicolon there just by I think. So this will be return. It'll be the values of our card, right, that we drew. Do we need, I guess this will return the entire hand. Yeah, I think so. So let's do return, or I guess we can't do return here. We're going to have to set up a temp. How do I want to do this? I need to maybe string. Gotta think for a minute. Let's just do a string. Let's call it MSG for now, for message. So what we want to do is we want to, and it needs to equal nothing, because we want it to display the hand of the user. So what we want to do is we're going to deal a card in, and that's going to go ahead and put it here and put it into the card. So we want to loop through our hand. So we're not using card in here, we're not using card up there, so we could do that. We could say for, and then we want to do new line probably, yeah. So let's say for int I equals 0. Oh, no, we're going to do it as the enhanced for. Oops, I have in my, so we're going to say for note card, and we're going to say card, and we're going to grab it from hand. So like that, and then we're going to say MSG plus equals, probably want a carriage return at the end, yeah. So we want to say this, and then we want to say, now we could actually probably call the card, because we're doing a new card. Yeah, we should be able to just do this and say card dot to string. And then, because we're going to be pulling multiple, we're going to do a plus and a backslash n, like so. Okay, so let's just see what this does. So right now, toString, oh, but we're not returning it now. So now we need to return MSG. In theory, this should print out the player's hand. Let's just check it out. So what we need to do is say P, let's see, how would we, P1 dot draw a card. So we need, not draw a hand, draw a card, P1 dot draw a card. And so now we need to get a card. So we're going to, what did we call it in here? A deal card. So we're going to then deal card, D-E-A-L, deal card. Oh, but this is going to be our deck. Deck dot deal card. And go ahead and get rid of all this. So that should give our player a card. And then if we say P1 dot toString, that should tell us what cards we have, right? Let's just try that. I have no idea. Like I said, when I'm developing why we're doing this, we're shooting from the hip. So I might be doing things the worst way, might be doing some okay way. So we have nothing outputting. P1 toString. Oh, wait. I know why too. The reason we're getting this, make sure it's stopped, is we need to do S out like that, and then sticking this other parenthesis, and hopefully this will give us a card, just a single card. 5 of diamonds, beautiful. And if we run it again, 8 of clubs. So if we were to, let's deal ourselves a couple cards. Let's say, we could do it as a loop, but let's do it as a loop. 4 int I equals 1 or 0. Don't want to do a 0. Yeah, sure, why not? We'll deal ourselves 5 cards, right? So we're going to say I equals 0, and then we're going to say I is less than 5, and then we're going to say I plus plus. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then we're going to come down here. I'm going to do that every time. There we go. Do that. And this is going to deal us 5 cards. There we go. Jack and Queen of Hearts, 4 of Spades, 4 of Clubs, 6 of Diamonds. 5 of Diamonds, 5 is beautiful. And what this should also be doing in the process, like if we were to, just wondering, we're out of time. I wanted to also create a discard card and a discard the whole hand, which would be the player discarding their whole hand. And what that would do, the discard hand will be a little bit tricky, because first we have to loop through each of the cards the player has and remove those strategically from the in play. So yeah, maybe we'll do that next time. We'll work on discard card and discard hand. Hopefully you did learn something. Hopefully it's not too confusing. I'm trying to make it as the least confusing that I possibly can. In fact, this should actually be the one that generates the cards too, right? maybe. I don't know. But like I said, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels. And speaking of other channels, on my T4zzTeaches channel, I am giving away 56 Steam games when I hit 1,000 subs. I'm about halfway there, so it's going to be probably a little while that giveaway is going to be running. But you should definitely check out that channel. If you like it, sub to it, and we'll be one step closer. Also, if you have friends, neighbors, family, anyone you know, tell them about that channel, and if they check it out and like it, they can sub, and we'll be even closer. So thank you guys so much for watching, and that's all I have. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.